Well, it's such a pleasure to meet you. I love your role in Dune Part 1 and 2.
Thank you.
In Part 2, Rabban is in a pretty desperate place, right? I mean, he's getting it from all sides.
Right.
How did you prepare for the role going into Part 2?
I prepared for it through conversations with Denis, and in particular, so I had not really talked to him much, other than, did you get the script? Did you like the script? Loved it. Okay, I'll see you in Budapest. So when I got there, I was in costume fittings, and they said Denis was coming over. And so I saw him and I hugged him, and I was like, man, so tell me about Rabban in this film. He's so much more, so much more developed. And he said, well, let me dream about it tonight, and I'll tell you tomorrow. And I thought that was the best answer because it made me more excited. Like, he's really thinking about this. And so next day we started having conversations, and he said at the root of Rabban, he's a coward, and remember that everything stems from that. So all his rage and resentment and violence and everything, it's all coming from an insecure place, from him just being a coward. And so that I played him like that, and I always thought of him like that. And so, and I was fortunate enough that scenes were written for me that you actually get to see that. You get to see at moments of vulnerability from him, moments that he is just cowardly, and he's just, like you said, desperate, and he's just seeking approval and seeking love. Which makes him just pathetic. And I thought this is going to be really challenging because there's almost moments where you want people to feel sympathy for this despicable character. And so anyway, that was the challenge, and that was my thought process.
When you said coward, I was surprised, and yet I can immediately see it, right? Like that definitely comes out. Yeah. How did you play Rabban against kind of like all of the other characters in Part 2 that he butts up against? Because he has so many interesting interactions.
Right. That's the thing. That wasn't challenging, because I think everybody was just so invested. And so it's just very easy when an actor is invested and they're stuck in the moment. It allows you to also be stuck in the moment and just bounce off of them. So that wasn't the challenging part at all. And most of it was there. I mean, the script is beautifully written. And so when you have the luxury of having these big practical sets and these talented people and these brilliant words and this master director, it's like every actor's dream, right? Yeah.
Talk real quick about just kind of like the physicality of the role, because the Harkonnens, they're so like visually distinctive.
Right.
Did you find there was a big difference in your performance, like in rehearsal versus when you were in full Harkonnen gear?
I think there's always going to be that. I think for myself, I don't want to speak for anybody else, but when I am put into makeup, put into costume, it's like almost like you close your eyes and wake up another person. You wake up that character. And so Denis is not the type of director where we over-rehearse. We don't, it's more of a blocking. And I think, that's great. It's nice to rehearse and it's nice to get the words out. But at the same time, when you start to over-rehearse, you kind of, or you start to overthink of what the scene is and not allow yourself to be in the moment. So a lot of blocking, not a whole lot of rehearsal. So when you actually go there and start to perform, you're actually just kind of living in the moment. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. Do you feel like there's any part of this character that you might take with you to future projects?
If there's a similar character, probably without even thinking about it. But I think what I will take with me is, the confidence, because I think, and each time I've worked with Denis, I've just become a better actor. And I think because this character, I think he's much more layered than people would even think, really just kind of watching it without like really thinking much about the character. But he is much more layered, and I think it's just allowing me to go there and invest in that character has just made me a better performer. So I'll take that with me. I become a better performer after every film.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for chatting with us today, and
you.
congrats on the new film. It's an achievement.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.